What's up, everybody? Jay here from Tap and Turn Gaming, coming at you today with a little video about the upcoming set AMONKHET that's going to drop at the tail end of this month. This video is going to be a little legend review of all the legendary creatures from the set, and our thoughts on them is, whether they would be good as a commander or maybe they would be better suited as part of the 99 in a deck. So that's what we're going to take a look at here today. So let's just jump right on in, shall we? So the first creature we're going to take a look at is this guy right here, Temet, Vizier of Noctamoon. He's a 2-cost 2/2 legendary human cleric via a white and a blue. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature token you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn and can't be blocked this turn. He also has Embalm for 3 in a white and a blue. So if he's in your graveyard, you can exile the card from your graveyard and then create a token copy of this card, except it's a white zombie human cleric with no mana cost, and Bomb only as a sorcery. So, I think it's a really interesting card. It's definitely a cheap commander to play, a 2-cost 2/2. So, if he happens to die, you can play him again the following turn for 4 mana. So, low casting cost generals are always easier to get out repeatedly than generals that cost a higher amount of mana. But I think the ability is pretty interesting. I definitely feel like it's build around me, but I also feel like it would be a pretty challenging build around me because he kind of screams, hey, build token production around me, and he's not in terrible colors for that. White definitely has lots of token production. Blue, not so much. There are some out there, but if he was white and green, then you would be in perfect colors for like a token production deck. I have my Tulsimir Wolfblood deck that just churns out tokens like it's nobody's business. So those would be phenomenal colors to be in if you want to go with a token strategy. You probably could still go with a token strategy in white-blue, just you wouldn't have access to as many good token production cards as you would if you were in green instead of blue. So do I think he would be a good general? He has the potential to be. Like I said, I think it'd definitely be a challenge to build a token deck around this guy, seeing as that he's in blue. But, like I said, white's got some pretty good token production, but I personally feel like this guy would be probably best suited in the 99 of a deck. Maybe you're playing a Bant deck, then you have access to that green, so that you get, the more meat and potatoes of token production. Green next to white is probably the second best color. Actually, green would probably be even better than white as far as token production goes, but if you're asking me anyway. But the combination of white and green is definitely where you want to be if you want to go with a token strategy. So me personally, I feel like this guy would probably be best suited in the 99 of a deck. Alright, next up we're going to take a look at this card right here, Samut, Voice of Dissent. It's a 5-cost, 3/4 legendary human warrior via 3, a red and a green. It's got a lot of abilities on it. So it's got Flash, Double Strike, Vigilance, and Haste. Gives all your other creatures haste, and you can pay a white and tap it to untap another target creature. So that's a lot of stuff on one card. So, obviously the fact that it has Flash is really nice. You can flash it in from the command zone, which is always a really nice thing to have access to be able to just flash your commander in at any given time. But, Double Strike, Vigilance, Haste, those are all really nice things. So I could definitely see this card being a general. Me personally, just looking at it right away, I would probably build it as Voltron if it were me. Just the fact that it double strikes and it can swing the moment it comes out onto the board, and it's not going to tap down when it swings, which means you can leave it back as a blocker if you need be, is just really, really nice. And then the fact that you can untap another target creature with it for a white and tapping it. So, maybe you're going wide. Obviously, you're in Naya colors with this. So, you know, maybe you're going in wide with creatures, and then you have access to red, so maybe you play some, you know, extra combat phase spells. This will allow you to untap another target creature, although most extra combat phase spells will untap your creatures anyways. But, you know, just the fact that you can have access to that to untap another creature. Maybe you have a creature that has a tap ability that does something really beneficial for you. You can use this to untap it and then gain access to that ability again. So, I mean, this card does a lot of things, and it does them really well. And the fact that it gives your entire team haste is really, really nice. So I definitely feel like this has the potential to be a commander in its own right. I also feel like it would fit well into the 99 of a deck as well. I already know that Derek's brother Brandon is building a Saskia deck, and I am definitely going to recommend that he play this card in his Saskia deck for sure. So I think this card is just really, really good all around. Does it have the potential to be a commander? Absolutely. And I feel like it would fit really, really well into the 99 of a deck as well. So I just think that this card is just overall really well-rounded and could, you know, do whatever you want it to do. Be a commander or be in the 99. Alright, next we're going to take a look at one of the gods in the set, Ronis the Indomitable. So he's a 3-cost 5/5 legendary god. He has Death Touch and Indestructible. He cannot attack or block unless you control another creature with power 4 or greater. And you can pay 2 and a green. Another target creature gets +2/+0 and gains trample until end of turn. So I would say we're going to look at 5 gods. There's one for each color, kind of like there was in Theros. I feel like the Theros gods were probably a little bit more powerful than these AMONKHET gods. I mean, some of them I feel like are pretty weak, but Ronis is probably one of the more better ones. So, you know, each god has that clause on it where it can't attack or block unless you meet a stipulation. This stipulation in Commander is not really going to be a problem. So, I mean, having another creature with 4 or greater power is probably not going to be very difficult for you to achieve. But what I really like about him is that the fact that you can pay that 3 mana and give another creature +2/+0 and trample. So he kind of, all the gods kind of grant you the opportunity to be able to turn them into creatures that can, well, I mean, they're already a creature, but basically make it so that they can attack or block. So I feel like this guy is one of the easier ones to, I guess, turn on, I guess you could say. Investing that 3 mana to pump another creature and give it trample will very easily, more than likely, be able to turn him on and make it so that he can attack or block. And the fact that he's got Death Touch and Indestructible is no laughing matter either. So any creature that he touches just dies. And he's indestructible, so he's not going to go anywhere unless, you know, they're blocking with like an infect creature, or you know, they give him a --. He's not going to go anywhere. He's going to stick around. So would I build a deck around this card? Probably not. I mean, if it were me personally, I probably wouldn't build a deck around him. Would I put him in the 99 of a deck that's running green? Absolutely. I would definitely do that. Just for that last ability alone, just being able to pump something up and give it trample so it can punch through that damage that you need it to punch through is just really nice. And you can activate that ability multiple times. You don't have to tap him or anything to do that. You just invest that 3 mana and get that ability. So as a general, probably not. Part of the 99? Absolutely. Alright, next up we're going to take a look at the White God, which is Oketra the True. So she's a 4-cost 3/6 legendary god. She has Double Strike and Indestructible. She can't attack or block unless you control at least 3 other creatures. Then you can pay 3 and a white to create a 1/1 white warrior creature token with Vigilance. So this is probably, next to Ronis, the one we just looked at, probably my next favorite one, or at least I feel like the next one in line that's really actually a good card. Not saying that the other gods aren't good. I just feel like the other three are just on the weaker end of the spectrum compared to this one and the green one. So, you know, again, she can't attack or block unless you have 3 other creatures, but she grants you the ability to create creatures for 4 mana. You can create a 1/1 white warrior with vigilance. And the vigilance is pretty nice, you know, if you swing in with a bunch of 1/1s with vigilance, you know, they're not going to tap down, and then they're there to block for you on your opponent's turn. You know, double strike is always nice to have too, and also I feel like she is relatively easy to turn on so that she can attack or block. You just have to have at least 3 other creatures on the board, so this would go really well into a token strategy. You know, if you're already creating a bunch of creature tokens, you know, she would fit right in. And if you're going with a token strategy, you're more than likely playing white as one of your colors, so, you know, she would fit right in, I think. Again, would I run this as a general? Probably not. I just feel like it doesn't have enough impact to warrant being a general. I mean, the double strike is nice. You know, you could potentially go Voltron with this, I suppose, just because it has double strike and it's indestructible. Maybe you create a bunch of tokens and then just suit her up and then just smash in. You know, you have the potential to do that. But I feel like there's just way better generals out there if you wanted to go that strategy and wanted to go Voltron. There's just better cards out there if you wanted to do that. So again, would I play her as a general? Probably not. Would I put her in the 99 of a deck that likes to spit out a bunch of tokens? You bet, absolutely. Alright, next up we have a Minotaur, Neheb the Worthy. So he's a 3-cost 2/2 legendary Minotaur warrior. Via 1, a black and a red. He has first strike. He gives other Minotaur creatures you control first strike. And as long as you have 1 or fewer cards in hand, Minotaurs you control get +2/+0. Whenever Neheb the Worthy deals combat damage to a player, each player discards a card. So obviously, definitely build around me if you want him as your general. Personally, with this guy, I'm already brewing a Minotaur tribal deck with this guy. You know, it is going to be kind of a tough deck to build because there really aren't very many Minotaurs that aren't just like vanilla creatures that don't do anything. So hopefully, I haven't taken a look at the entire spoiler yet for AMONKHET, but hopefully there's some more Minotaurs in the set that would make that worthwhile. But overall, I think he's a pretty good card. You know, he first strikes, so you know, he'll take down anything that's 2 or less power before it can even touch him. But it definitely screams build around me. I mean, it's a Minotaur Lord. It gives all your other Minotaurs first strike, and if you have 1 or fewer cards in hand, your Minotaurs get +2/+0. So, I mean, obviously, it's like, build around me, build Minotaur tribal around me. So, I mean, it has the potential to, you know, not be Minotaur tribal, I guess, if you wanted to go with like a discard theme. Maybe, you know, he has to hit in order for everybody to discard a card, so maybe you're going with like a madness strategy or something like that, you know, to get value out of having to discard cards. But looking at it, it's just, to me, it just screams build Minotaur tribal around me. So I'm already brewing a Minotaur tribal deck around this guy, so would I put him in the 99 of a deck? I don't think I would. I would definitely, if I'm going to play this guy, I'm definitely going to build a deck around him with him as the general, because just all of the stuff that he's got on the card just screams build tribal around me. Alright, next we're going to take a look at the blue god, which is Kefnet the Mindful. He's a 3-cost 5/5 god with flying and indestructible. He can't attack or block unless you have 7 or more cards in hand, and if you pay 3 and a blue, you can draw a card, then you may return a land you control to your hand. So, again, you know, as with the other gods that we've already looked at, you have to meet a stipulation for this guy to be able to attack or block. So I feel like this is one of the weaker gods out of the 5. Excuse me. You have to have 7 or more cards in your hand in order to turn him on, essentially, so that he can attack or block. Again, he gives you the ability to get there, so you can draw a card, and then you can return a land you control to your hand, so that you have an extra card in your hand to potentially turn him on. But generally, you want to have as many lands as you can on the board in Commander as you can possibly have, so you can cast all your big splashy stuff. So just to be able to animate a guy, well, not animate him, but make it so that he can attack or block, would I want to lose, land presence on the board just to be able to swing in with a 5/5? Me personally, I wouldn't want to do that. At least if he was my general. Even if he was in the 99, granted he gives you access to drawing cards, and then you may return a land, so you don't have to do it. If you want to be able to swing in with a 5/5 flying indestructible creature, he gives you the ability to potentially do that. But I don't know, I don't feel real strong about this card. I don't think it's really that great. I think it's one of the weaker gods out of the 5. Sure, he lets you draw cards for 4 mana, so maybe you toss him into the 99 of a deck that runs blue just so you have some extra card draw, because, he's indestructible, so he's probably not going to go anywhere. And he can just draw you a card every turn for 4 mana, so, I guess that's okay. Maybe you have a land that you can bounce back to your hand and then replay. Maybe it has some sort of, enter the battlefield effect, or, something of that nature. Maybe it's like a Halimar Depths, or, I don't know, I can't think of anything else off the top of my head, but, there are some little interactions that you could do with him, but ultimately, would I play him as a commander? Probably, definitely not. Put him in the 99 if I needed some extra card draw, maybe. But if you're looking for card draw, there's probably way better things that you could play to draw cards than this guy. So, but, that's just how I feel about him. If any of you think that this card's great, that's great. This is just my opinion on it. I don't think the card's that great, but, maybe someone will, break this card out and, do crazy things with it. So, I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, moving on to the next card. There's another god, Hazaret the Feverent. So he's the red god. He's a 4-cost 5/4. He has indestructible and haste, and he can't attack or block unless you have 1 or fewer cards in hand. And you can pay 2 and a red, discard a card. He deals 2 damage to each opponent. So, I don't really feel great about this card either. I, definitely think it's kind of on the same level as the blue one. As far as power goes, I don't think it's that powerful, at least in Commander. Maybe it would be phenomenal in Standard or phenomenal in another format. But, in Commander, I don't think he's that great. I really don't. Sure, he's got indestructible and haste. That's great. And he can't attack or block unless you have 1 or fewer cards in hand. Generally, in Commander, you want to have some cards in your hand. So, you want to be holding back some answers for your opponent's things. Generally, if you're in top deck mode in Commander, that's not generally a place you want to be. So, I don't know, I just feel like this guy's just one of the weaker gods. I don't really care too much for him. His ability is not really that great either. Paying 3 to pitch a card from your hand to shock each opponent. Sure, it's each opponent, so it's table wide. So, if you're playing like a 4 or 5 or 6 player game, sure, he's going to spread a lot of damage around. But, you have to pitch a card in order to do that, and, maybe sometimes you don't want to be pitching cards. Maybe you're playing a Reanimator strategy, and you want to be pitching cards. He has the potential to fit into kind of certain archetypes. The only real one that I could see him being decently good in is, like I said, a Reanimator style deck. Maybe you're playing Black-Red or Grixis or, you know, something. I don't know. I mean, that's really the only archetype that I could see this guy being really good in, because then you can just pitch cards to the yard at will, and then you're getting an extra benefit out of it by dealing that damage, and then you have that stuff in the graveyard for you to potentially reanimate later. But I think I've talked enough about this guy. I'm getting a little long-winded about him. Would I play him as a general? No, definitely not. Would I play him in the 99 of a deck? It would have to be a certain type of deck. And for me personally, the only one I could really think of that he would be good in is Reanimator. Alright, next we'll take a look at this one right here, which is Hapatra, Vizier of Poisons. So it's a 2-cost 2/2 legendary human cleric. When it deals combat damage to a player, you may put a -1/-1 counter on target creature. And then whenever you put one or more -1/-1 counters on a creature, create a 1/1 green snake creature token with Death Touch. This is probably one of my more favorite legends from the set. I'm definitely also brewing a deck around this card as well. You know, like a -1/-1 counter theme. Because not only when this hits your opponent, you get to spit out a -1/-1 counter, but whenever you put one on a creature, put one or more. So, you know, if you were to, you know, let's say, like Black Sun Zenith, so you put X -1/-1 counters on, you know, all creatures on the board. Well, actually, that's probably a bad call-out, because that would probably kill this card. But, you know, if you targeted one creature with something like a Skin Render, for instance. We'll use Skin Render, that's a good example. So that puts 3 -1/-1 counters on a creature. You would only net the one green snake, because it says whenever you put one or more, so it's not for whenever you put... it's not for every counter that you put on something. If that was the case, this card would be super broken. That would generate you lots of 1/1 death-touching snakes. But it's whenever you put one or more. So if you target something with, let's say, a Skin Render, you still only get the one snake out of it. But I still think it's a pretty potent ability. I'm definitely brewing a deck around it, like I said. You know, and black-green is a pretty good color combination for wanting to put -1/-1 counters on things. You know, you have access to creatures with Infect. You have access to things like Incremental Blight and Skin Render and Fevered Convulsions and Midnight Banshee, you know, things of that nature. So, you know, I feel like the card definitely has the potential to be a general. So would I play it as a general? Yes, I'm already building a deck around it. Currently, I'm just waiting to see what else is in the set. I need to take a look at the full spoiler list myself, but I definitely feel like it's built around me. I definitely feel like it could be very good. Would I play it in the 99 of a deck? It depends. I feel like this card would be stronger as the general, as opposed to a card in the 99. But that's just, I might be biased. I might just be like, oh, well, I'm brewing a deck around this card with a -1/-1 counter theme. So, you know, it could be really good in the 99 of a deck. Maybe there's other decks out there that like to shoot -1/-1 counters around. Maybe you're playing a Traxa and you're doing a -1/-1 counter theme with her. You know, this card would fit right into that strategy as well. So, I feel like it could find a home both ways, as a general or in the 99 of a deck. But part of the 99, you would definitely, you know, have to have a certain archetype. But then again, if you're playing it as your general, you're definitely kind of in one particular archetype where you want to be spitting counters around. Alright, next up we'll take a look at the Black God, who is Bontu the Glorified. So he is a 3-cost 4/6. Again, he's one of the gods. He has Menace and Indestructible, and he can't attack or block unless a creature died under your control this turn. Excuse that Skype notification. Then you can pay 1 and a black, sacrifice another creature, scry 1. Each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. So he's not terrible. You know, if you do happen to get him online, he has Menace, so, you know, unless your opponent has a bunch of creatures that they can use to chump up to him, you know, he could connect for some damage every once in a while. But you know, I like the free sack outlet, you know, paying that 1 and a black to sack a guy to scry 1, so he's kind of like a Viscera Seer, almost, but you have to invest mana into it. And then he also drains and gains, so each opponent loses 1 and then you gain 1. I feel like it probably would have been a little bit better if it was each opponent loses 1 life and then you gain life equal to the life lost this way. I feel like that would be more mythic worthy, because all the gods are mythic rares. You know, maybe over at R&D at Wizards, they felt like, you know, if you gain life equal to the life lost this way, it would be too powerful, because it does only cost 3 mana to cast this card, so, you know, maybe they felt like that would be too powerful of an effect. But overall, he's not bad. Would I play him as the general of a deck? Probably not. I just feel like he doesn't bring enough impact to the board to warrant being a commander. Would I put him in the 99 of a deck? Maybe. If I was playing some sort of like Death and Taxes style deck, or maybe like a Life Drain deck, I might toss him in, you know, because he gets you that free sack outlet that lets you scry, which is really nice. I mean, I think that's the best part about him. So, but, you know, if you happen to get him online, getting him online so that he can attack or block is, you know, relatively easy to do, because all you have to do is have a creature die under your control, and he gives you the access to do that instantly. Compared to some of the other gods, like the blue one, he draws you a card, then lets you take a land back. Well, that might not always let you get him online. This ability on this guy gets him online the moment you activate it. So, you know, that's good in that aspect, but ultimately, would I play him as a commander? Probably not. In the 99, it depends. It would have to be, you know, in a specific type of archetype. And I think that is it. I think that is the last card. So that will wrap up the legend review here for the cards from AMONKHET that are our new legendary creatures. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, crush that thumbs up button. It really does help out a lot. The more you crush that thumbs up button, the easier it is for other people to find the content on our channel. Leave me some comments in the comment section below what you thought of this video. You know, if you agree with some of my opinions, if you disagree, if you think I'm stupid for, you know, thinking a certain thing about a certain card, you know, don't hesitate to let us know. We really love hearing your comments and suggestions, even the negative slash, you know, critical ones. You know, we use that to, you know, to grow and, you know, to make better content for you guys. You know, we don't get butthurt over you saying, oh, I don't agree with your opinion on this card. I think it's great. You know, if you think it's great, that's great. You know, it's just our opinion on the card. So, again, we just love to hear your comments and suggestions, positive or negative. And if you're not already subscribed to our channel, Tap and Turn Gaming, go ahead and click that subscribe button. We really do appreciate it. Also, if you click this little bell icon right here, you will get notified each and every time we upload a new video. So that about wraps it up, guys. So again, hope everybody enjoyed the video of this AMONKHET Legend review. And we'll catch you later in some future upcoming content to the channel. Thanks a lot for watching, and goodbye.